Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened one. So dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to share some basic informations for yourself to develop a very good spiritual foundation, especially with meditation. So when it comes to meditation, the very meaning of this meditation, the word comes from bhavana, and the very interpretation, the meaning of the bhavana is cultivation or the development. So mental development, mental cultivation. So why we have to cultivate our mind? So if we don't cultivate in day-to-day life, what is happening with us? So what we experience is not the cultivation, because day by day we learn a lot of things. So when it comes to cultivation of the mind, it is very important to understand the very nature of the mind. So the mind always clinging to things. That's the very nature of the mind. So because of that nature, we always hold it to thoughts, and that thoughts came out of our experience. So when you hold into thoughts, there is no way that the growth can happen, development can happen. So then in the very beginning, what you need to do, you have to release your mind. That releasing mind is an art, because mind itself, you can't release because it has a nature to cling. So then how you can get out of your past experience or the mental formations or the cankers or the sanskara? So that's why you hold it to primary mental object. Rather than to past or the future, you hold it to the present moment. So then mind can be more comfortable. Because it's not you try to become empty with the mind. You give a better option to hold something happening in the moment. So that is how in the beginning you have to develop this. So don't try to empty or don't try to resist your mind or thoughts, or don't try to get out of something. You can't. So then start to hold into the moment. So understand very carefully these two natures. Rather than trying to get out of something, you have the effort to hold it to something. So what you need to do, you always hold it to the present moment. So you use the same nature of the mind. And when you develop the same nature of the mind becomes more comfortable and you can develop it. But what the mistake we do, we always try to make empty our mind. We always try to resist whatever things. But you can't. So that's why from the beginning you have to have the very clear understanding how you can develop this meditation. And another meaning of the cultivation and why this mind hold it to things, because it has a nature, go with the greed, hatred, and the delusion. But still you can make your mind free from that. So then once you hold it to the present moment, it's not going to develop the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So in that way, the mind becomes more powerful and clear. So with that clarity, if you are capable to observe clearly, and you're going to understand what you experience. So that is what you need from the base in the beginning and the basic level. Because if you don't have that, again, you're going to caught up and tangle with the thought pattern, and then you go with it. So this process, another way, we call self-development. So self-development, then that means you develop yourself. That you develop yourself means you're not developing your body. You're not developing your physical structure. And then you have to do the bodybuilding. It's a bodybuilding, you build the body. But here, developing the self means overall that the process of your mind and the entire process of your head to toes, the whole structure. And so when it comes to that development, you always have to tune to the newness. You have to have the idea to let go who you are in this very moment. Not to have the continuation of your same structure, same mental behavior. So when it comes to that development, if you have very clear understanding about releasing your own habitual patterns, methods, repetitions, and then you can experience each and every moment is kind of like becoming a new person. So that gives you kind of like a different happiness and satisfaction. There is two ways. So one satisfaction, when you continue the same thing, you gain kind of like a happiness and satisfaction and comfort. And when you give up that who you are, and when you get a new version of you, again and again, you hold it to that newness, and there you gain happiness and satisfaction, comfort. See, there are two ways. So that's why you can maintain life or you can change the life. But most of the time people come to meditation with the idea to maintain the life. There's nothing wrong with that, because somehow you come to practice. But while you practice, you have to understand how you can go to the next level of the practice, bring the change to yourself. So to bring the change to yourself, the very first level, you have to understand to let go who you are. So this self-development go with the three kind of like structures. Today we are going to look into that. So the one is the very first, the very bottom level is called the self-discipline. And some other people explain it as the self-control. So why this self-discipline is important? Because whoever we are, that what we experience is a result of habit. It's a result of repetition. So karma itself means the result of repetition. So then in the very first level, you have to understand, if you keep doing the same thing again and again, this is the life you experience. So then when you want to get into a higher level, don't keep repeat the same thing. So then you have to build up a new life. So for that, you have to the very first thing that you have to start to understand within yourself, not to repeat inside your all thought patterns. That is where all the habits come. You always keep thinking. And as a result of that, you start to bring that thoughts through your body, then it becomes a bodily action, verbal action. So stop repeating in your mind. So that is the beginning of the self-awareness. So that is the beginning of the self-development. So developing the self-discipline inside your mind, not to repeat there. And at the same time, whatever that the new version of you, whatever the development you want, and start to bring that thoughts pattern to yourself. So if it is about meditation, if it is about your day-to-day life, so whatever, you have to have a very clear mental structure. So that also part of the self-discipline. That also part of the self-control. So that the control words, we don't need to go into that much. So you can keep it as the self-development and the self-understanding rather than self-control. Or you can keep it as the self-discipline. So when it comes to that self-discipline, you are the one who's going to get benefit out of it. And it's become more kind of like have a kind of like a little comfort rather than control. Because it is you. You can't control you. So discipline, it's kind of like you behave yourself. So that's why start to look into yourself and see how you can discipline yourself. And one of the important things about sitting, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, unmovable posture. So you can develop little by little, and have that self-discipline with that. Another one is the one of the important thing, this food intake, your eating habit, your drinking habit, and be disciplined with that. Because that is a very important part in your life. If you look very carefully, And sometimes you think, oh, I don't eat that. Oh, I don't this. But still you are replacing that with something. You don't see that. So look into you and have well discipline with your eating habit. And don't just try to replace it with something. And maybe you think, oh, I don't eat sugar. But you don't eat just the, white, this powder sugar, but you may take it from somewhere else. And you so addicted to that. And now you so comfortable not to do this because you gain it from somewhere. And maybe you eat cake. Or maybe you eat cookies. Or maybe you eat bread. But you say, I don't eat sugar. It's like that. See, somehow your body gain it somehow. Remember one thing. Your subconscious mind so smart than you think. This body, each and every cell is so smart than you think. So then whatever you're thinking, thoughts just for a moment, maybe you read from somewhere, you heard it from somewhere, it's good. But there is a deeper intelligence inside you. So that's why you have to be strong with the practice. So that's why you have to bring as the very first step, your self-discipline. And look, practice with the sitting and your eating habit and your sleeping habit and sometimes your leisure, other hobbies and activities. Look into that and see how you maintain it, in what is the result you gain out of that all. Is there any development yourself, or are you maintaining your life? If it is just the maintaining, if there's no development, then you have to change it. Because the very purpose of life, you have to develop yourself. You have to come with the more better version. Otherwise, your life is going to become tired just by yourself. So that's why more than any other time, you look, we have that all these connections. We have Bluetooth to Wi-Fi and all these 5Gs, satellite, everywhere we have ways to connect. And all the social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, many ways, and all these cable channels. Look how many things, but still, more than any other time, a lot of people feel lonely themselves. And also we have many videos, live streaming, and more than any other, they are so colorful. Movies, dramas, TV series, and more than any other time, technically they are so advanced. But still, more than any other time, and people go through anxiety and depression. So how it's possible? Why? Because we just maintain. So when you keep maintaining yourself, by the time you're going to get tired about it. So that's why don't use your life or don't use your day-to-day activities to maintain you. Use it to develop you. So that's why you have to have the understanding and clarity about self-discipline. And the second one is self-realization. So why you need to realize yourself? Most of time we introduce ourselves by our name or whatever other activities we do. But still, there is a deeper, dark character inside us or shadow inside us we never saw. And that shadow or that dark side most of time depend on the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So that's why realizing yourself is important. Not to do anything, but just to see and recognize it is there. Because seeing itself is the solution. But what we do, we always try to do something without seeing, without recognizing. So then yourself, if you see what is happening in you, and what is the greed, what is the hatred, and what is the ignorance that coming from you, through you, and then you're going to be okay. Because that when you see it, right away what will happen? Your reaction's going to withdraw from you. When you don't react to your own greed, hatred, and the delusion, it's going to lose the power. And then that your awareness become more sharp and clear, sharp and clear. So recognize yourself. Again and again, again and again, look into you, especially when a situation comes. When things go wrong, when hard time come, when you get disappointed, when you go unbalanced, start to look into yourself and see the very condition of your mind. Because that is where you can see. Sometimes it is not outside. We think, oh, outside situation is hard, or outside situation is go wrong, or outside things so difficult. No, outside the same. But inside our mind, the very condition of the mind change, and because of that, we experience it as something difficult. Once you understand this, you recognize more than this outside world, this life is a game with our own mind. Once you know that, you can play it very well. Otherwise, most of time, we lose inside us because we think life happening with this outside world. So that's why self-realization, recognizing, understanding who you are and what is your deeper nature, seeing that your hidden dark character is very necessary. So because without that, if you try to go to a place without knowing what is happening inside you, if you get into a relationship, if you go to a place, if you become a chairman in a company, and if you become the boss, if you become the co-worker for a place, but still you don't know who you are, then you put yourself in danger and other people also in danger. So that's why when it comes to that self-development, the recognizing yourself is very necessary. And the third one is self-awareness. So self-awareness means In the very moment, you have to be aware yourself. We have the awareness, but it is not about the self. We have the awareness about something. Always mind somewhere. Always you have the awareness, it's somewhere. So what we need to do, we have to bring it to ourselves. So when it comes to yourself, your body, your mind, your breathing, always you can experience in the present moment. So as example to the body, if you become mindful regarding your body, so that's mean you are in the present moment. And especially when it comes to the breathing, you can't catch the past breathing, you can't go with the future breathing. When you settle down to the breathing, that's mean always you experience the present moment. So the present moment means you aware about the moment, right now, right here. So once you have that, even when it comes to the self, the most important part of the self is your breathing. So you keep your awareness to the highest place in you. And then you see deeply what is happening there. So once you come to that breathing, your body, mind, breathing start to settle down as one. So it develops the tranquility state. And from that tranquility state, you go a little bit more deeper to understand what is this and how this happens. So inhalation, exhalation, you recognize separately. It is not a one thing. Breathing is a one thing. You can separate it to inhalation, exhalation. Now two parts. And then you can separate it to beginning, the middle, the end. Now it's three parts. And sometimes when it happens, it has different character, each and every inhalation, exhalation. Some become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold, so kind of like that. And then not only that, when the inhalation happens, it's not alone itself. It happened with the body. Now you're recognizing it. But when it comes to breathing, just when it tip up your nose, it's just you see from the beginning, it's just an independent action. But now, no, inhalation, the body also part of it. Exhalation, body also part of it. And not only that, by the time you're recognizing inhalation, body is a part of it. Not only that, your mind also part of it. And exhalation, the body, not only the body, mind also part of it. So when the inhalation happens, that means your body, mind, breathing, this entire process come together. And then moment by moment, when the inhalation change, exhalation change, following that change, what happens? The condition of the body and the condition of the mind change. So these three things interconnected. Your breathing conditioned by the body and mind, your body conditioned by the breathing and the mind, your mind conditioned by the breathing and the body. Understand it very carefully. And once you come to that level, you deeply recognizing this breath related to four elements: heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. And this all the body parts. You know, the body means that several different body parts come together, it became body. So just imagine without the breathing, is there this body can function? No. So then this body come with the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. And the mind. And the mind depends on the names and forms. So what are the names means? Names means whatever the things that we accumulated as ideas. And not the form. What are the forms means? Whatever the physical material things we understood through ourselves. So then, without the body, the mind itself not going to happen. And without the breathing, the body or the mind not going to happen itself. So when it comes to the breathing, it's the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. When it comes to the body, all this body part, if we divided it into pieces again and again and again, separate it, it's going to end up being heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. 4 elements, very fundamentals of this material world. And when it comes to the mind, all the thoughts, and also we understood by the names or the forms that all the names or the forms related to heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. So as example, whatever the pictures that you carry, forms that you have in your mind, it appears as a form, as a result of heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. So then we take the heat. If you look very carefully, another way it's called the dhatu, or the very fundamental properties of the universe and elements. And if you take the heat separately, there is nothing that you can find as a soul or any living beings, not there when it comes to heat. Motion. If you take the motion separately, you don't recognize any living beings there. It not belong to any living beings. Motion means not a living being. And liquidity is not a living being. It's just one property, and it doesn't have any shape or any kind of format itself. Hardness is not a living being. See, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. It's not a living being. According to the Western world, when it comes to the atom, and they divide the atom and subatomic particles, electron, neutron, and proton. So electron is not a living being. Neutron is not a living being. There is no life. Proton is not a life. It's a one property of this material world. But when these 3 things come together, electron, neutron, proton, it manifests something. And then again and again, these things come together, it manifests something, it manifests something. So like that, when it comes to us, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, when these 4 things come together, as a body, as a mind, as breathing, this all combination bring the moment of experience, which we call the life. So in the Vipassana level, deeply, once you understand that, it is not a independent, separate, unchangeable, living being experience this. This entire process with your body, mind, and the breathing, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, that non-stop keep working and moving each other and interconnected and helping each other, and that entire process bring the moment of experience, which we call the reality. So the reality means in this very moment what you experience. So that reality is not permanent. It's a moment of experience. And it's not going to be there for the next moment. So this entire world, entire universe, moment by moment, moment by moment, change. So that means moment by moment, your reality change. So rather than hold it to memory, if you are capable to tune to that change, your body, your mind, your breathing start to tune to that journey. So in that journey, you are not going to belong to any name or any form, because it's just a moment of experience. Experiencer and the experience both change. So once you come to that, in that very moment, your transformation, your liberation happens. And there, you don't name yourself, or you don't hold it to your mental image as who you are, because you are tuned to the moment of experience. So that is the process from the tranquility state to vipassana level. So it is another window that you can look into this process and see how your transformation can happen. So this all can go through self-development. So if you don't develop yourself, you can't experience that. So that's why rather than maintaining yourself, start to develop yourself and let go who you are, and always accept the newness. Be open to newness. Be open to change. And even though in the process, when the turbulence happens, that you have to remember that pain you go through when the change happens, and give a new space for you. That's worth for you rather than hold it to this. So self-discipline and self-recognition and self-awareness. So if you work in these three fields again and again, not for a one time, again and again, again and again, again and again, by the time you are capable to bring that development to yourself, releasing the power of the greed, hatred, and the delusion, and minimizing it, and uplifting that all the wisdom related to loving kindness, generosity, compassion, so on. So out of this practice, how you can develop this loving kindness, generosity, compassion, it is not a kind of like a thought, because when the mind start to tune to be open, what will happen as a result of that? Loving kindness, generosity, compassion going to be there. So it is not a thought. It is a result of your mind. It is a result of your process. So the greed, hatred, and the delusion also the same. It is not a thought. This is what we misunderstand. It is not a thought. It is a result of process. So then if you don't go in that process, you're not going to have that. So now when you go in this way, wisdom path, you gain the loving kindness, generosity, compassion to yourself. So in that way, very being itself, you experience your life with others, and you become more harnessed with each and everything. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. So rather than resisting your mind, throwing the ideas or thoughts, just hold it to the present moment of the sensation. Again and again. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata cha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammang pujemi sanghang pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless.